An old law kept Canadians from news on Facebook and Instagram. Is change finally coming? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for crucial updates.
Remember when you used to be able to see and share local media content on Facebook and Instagram? The good old days? That was about 2 years ago. And unfortunately, it's been gone for about 2 years now from the platform. You haven't been able to share news on Facebook or Instagram, or see news for that matter, for about 2 years. And that's all because of the Trudeau government's Online News Act. The Online News Act was passed in 2023, and what it essentially said was that platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Google would actually have to pay local media organizations for the privilege of displaying news stories, and if people decide to click on those news stories and go to those news sites, would have to pay those local media organizations for that click. Now, the reality is that it wasn't Facebook or Instagram, or for that matter, Google, that was benefiting from displaying local media stories. It was actually the local media outlets themselves, because people would click on those stories, they would go to the sites, they would read the whole story, and they'd be exposed to local advertising. So the Trudeau government really stepped in it when they passed this legislation, because Meta's response, the parent company for Facebook and Instagram, was to say, we're not footing the bill for this. We're just going to ban news content from Facebook and Instagram because of this legislation. So that's why Canadians haven't been able to see local news or national news on platforms like Facebook or Instagram for almost 2 years now. Now, fast forward to last week when Prime Minister Mark Carney was asked, in light of wildfires that have been going on in Western Canada, whether he would consider repealing the Online News Act, because that was how a lot of people got their local news information. And when you're having something like wildfires going on, that could be an impediment for people getting access to local news. And he actually indicated that he was open to doing that. Now, this would be good news for multiple reasons, but a couple of them are the following. Number one, it would be good news for local media. Local media has really suffered from the fact that people can't just see their content on Facebook or Instagram anymore and be directed to their websites. That's actually been a negative for local media companies. But number two, it's also been a trade irritant with the Trump administration. The legislation specifically targets American companies like Meta, like Google, and the Trump administration has been very clear that they're willing to hit back, and hit back hard, against legislation that specifically targets American firms. That's why the Carney government dropped the digital services tax when the Trump administration spoke out against it, and repealing the Online News Act would actually be a very good thing for a trading relationship with the United States. Hopefully, it could help along a future deal with the United States that is hopefully in the works between the Carney government and the Trump administration right now. We don't really know. But it would also be very good for local media. Local media wants to see stories shared on Facebook and Instagram and people redirected to their sites. So this would be good news all around. And it's high time for Mark Carney to yet again take another step in breaking with the legacy of the Trudeau government and the Trudeau era, and actually repeal the Online News Act, because this would be good news for Canadians from coast to coast to coast who want to get their news on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, or at least get exposed to it and then brought to other news sites to read those full stories and get exposed.
A possible decision could bring news back to your screens and reshape Canada's media scene soon. Before you go, make sure to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Join the conversation.